I will begin this conversation with a brief intro on you. So, you're someone who has been through things most people only hear stories of, but your life hasn't been one of stories or hearing or just seeing these events, but actually living them. People would see you and wonder how you're still alive from some of the literal life or death battles you've been in. Yet, me knowing you personally, you're a simple, peaceful man with patience and restraint. You care for martial arts and truly helping others, almost to the point of real deal selflessness. You don't care much for material possessions, and often you'll wear the same outfit all year round, sometimes just two outfits all year round. You run True Path Jiu Jitsu, which is pretty much just helping others. It's a company that's just helping others that we'll get into. And I was trying to think like how should I frame this interview? How should I frame this thing? And then I figured the best way to do it would just kind of be on some start to finish shit. So what was your upbringing like from your home to your neighborhood or family, or what would you, so the listener can get a better idea of like what you came up in? What was your upbringing like?
So I grew up in kind of just like a middle class type situation, family. But like from the moment I was born, I would say my life was very chaotic. Like my parents, like they were still trying to figure themselves out and trying to figure life out. And like today I find that I don't hold anything against them that I went through, and like I've gone through like many like levels of forgiveness and just like I've like thought deeply about like the way I grew up, and but the fact is like my home was like pretty dysfunctional, like to say the least. My mom was like overworked, like working a crazy job. My dad had just my dad's an alcoholic. He just doesn't drink. And when I was born, my dad quit drinking. And drinking is what he used to pretty much like deal with all of his problems, which he had a lot of. And like honestly, like starting like with my dad's life, like my dad came from my dad grew up in a household with like many brothers and sisters. He was dirt poor. He told me he went out to eat one time when he was a kid, and he got a slice of pizza. Do you know what I'm saying? So he like he was never like he never had like the privileges, or like he never like got to experience a lot of what like a normal like or a privileged like American like child would. When you think of like an American like experience, like you don't think of that, I guess. My dad's like father, my grandfather, was extremely abusive. He was a veteran who had like insane PTSD. He would like rape my grandmother. Like some of like my dad's like brothers and sisters are a product of rape. No, my dad was like very abused as a kid. He grew up like my grandfather would like tie the kids up, like put fucking cigarettes out on them. You know what I mean? Like torture them. Like he would tell them like what he was going to do to them and shit like that. You know what I mean? So then I like, so when I think about like how I grew up, it's hard for me now to like even hold it against like my dad. I like used to blame like everything on like, you know, like how I grew up. And I used to like justify like the way that I would behave based on like my parents' actions. And now like I think about like I'm like holy shit, like what do you expect? Do you know what I mean? Like so anyway, like I was born right outside the city, and then my parents moved to a small town like 15 minutes outside the city, and I always felt like kind of like a fucking alien, dude. I I never felt like I had a place to belong, really. I've always considered myself like a sensitive person. I feel like I've always been like sensitive to like just people's energies and like vibrations, and like I've always been like very empathetic. So growing up and like immediately being thrown into like chaos, like I always felt like fuck, dude, like why is this happening? You know what I'm saying? Like I could never like like come up with a reason in my head like why like I had to experience like some of the shit I had to experience. And then like I would go to school, like I started going to school, and like it was the same there, man. I like the town I grew up in, like a lot of people, they fucking know each other. They all grew up there. Their parents grew up there. Like the fucking teachers who like taught in the school like grew up there, and I didn't have that. Do you know what I mean? So I always felt like an outcast, and I never really felt like I was treated equally. And I never found that I had the same interests as people that I grew up with. Not to say that what they're interested in is wrong. I just never felt like I had a place to like fit. And I think like because of my upbringing and because of like the way that I was treated from like the get, like made me feel like something was wrong with me, you know? So I would go into school and like and I feel like I projected that, you know what I mean? I got like bullied pretty bad, and I never was the type to like really like do anything about it. I just like, oh man, I just like don't fucking like confrontation that much, you know what I mean? I just want to like do my own thing. Like when I was younger, I was like kind of a fucking nerd, bro. I fucking collected bugs, and like I fucking was out in the woods, bro. I like to like draw and like just kind of keep to myself. And like I was always told like if you treat people like you always treat people the way that you want to be treated. But I started to learn that like that's not the case, because people don't fucking treat you the way that you treat them. They treat you how like they want to treat you, or and they take advantage of you. You know what I mean? So like as I started to get older, I started to get like really fucking angry, and like and like
how old is older?
Not I don't know. I would say maybe like feelings of like extreme anger I can remember from like when I was like really fucking young, dude, like raging, you know what I mean? And like not knowing like what to do with it. Like I wanted like feelings of like suicidal ideation. Like that shit started when I was like in fucking elementary school, bro. You know what I mean? Like I remember I fucking, I came home one day and I was like, fuck this. Like I'm done with this. This is like third grade or some shit. And I was like, I'm going to take everything in my living room. I didn't like know anything. I didn't like know how I would kill myself, but I just knew like, oh, my neck's important. You know what I mean? Like, cause I would like watch like animal shows or some shit, and I'd see like, you know what I mean? Like a lion like grabs the fucking like antelope, you know what I mean? So I knew it was like a vital area. So I'm like, if I fucking like put everything on this couch and then I put it like on my neck, like maybe it'll like crush my neck and I'll die. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I fucking put everything in my living room like on like my couch, and then I like couldn't like lift it up, and then I was like, oh fuck, dude, my dad's about to get home and he's gonna like whoop my ass like bad. So I like, you know what I mean, like cleaned it up. And then like I got into like fights and shit like when I was like very young, or not, I don't know, like very young, like third grades, like when I remember like I got into like my first like fist fight. Some kid was like fucking stole my hat or some shit, and then everyone's like, yo, you gotta like do this, like, or he's gonna like take your hat every day. And I was like, all right, like I guess, you know what I'm saying? And then like it kind of like escalated like that. I feel like I was like very like susceptible to peer pressure, and then those feelings like never like went away, you know what I mean?
So how do you think that all of that, I think that everything you just said and the way your upbringing is today, you're like you could say like in some sense like a totally different person, like just from your surroundings to even just how you carry yourself or how you deal with problems is different from how you would have dealt with it then, or even how you would have dealt with it, let's say 8 years ago, like when 8 years ago like wasn't your childhood but it was still like a part of your life. How do you think that all of that stuff affects like how you live today, like in the present moment, and how your mind works?
Well, I would say like definitely like every single day there's like a war inside my fucking head, bro. I have trouble every day is like a new day. I have to take it as it comes. I would also say that like I think I'm very sensitive to like I can read people, like, which I feel like helps me. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I can tell like a person's intentions like probably before like the average person like can, just from being able to like, do you know what I mean? Like having so many like negative experiences with people, like I feel like I've gathered like how they begin at like a subconscious level. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, what was the question again, bro?
It was just how you think your upbringing affects how you live today, like day to day.
Day to day, I try to be like the most like kind person that I can, like every single day. Like I don't want to ever make somebody feel like the way that I felt like growing up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Can you, if like, people go through phases in life, and I was just, when I was framing this and trying to think of what questions to ask you, I thought of like this question, which is, how were you, like, how was your personality or the way that your life was when you were 5, then when you were 10, then when you were 15, and then when you were 20? So it's like 5-year intervals, like 5, 10, 15, 20, up until like today. How would you say you were? And you don't have to be like at 5 I was like this, at 10 I was like this, but just in general, like,
Yeah.
how do you think like everything has shifted the way that it has?
So I would say when I was young, I was very like, I was enthusiastic and very curious. I would say like as I got older, that remained, but I also was like very like fucking, I don't know, I'd say like worn down. Do you know what I mean? Like at like a young age. And then like by the time I hit puberty, I started to get like that's when I started to get like really fucking angry and like spiteful towards like humanity, the world. I started thinking like, okay, like, I've really like put my best foot forward, like, and just like, it just hasn't been received. Do you know what I mean? Like I've tried to like be myself. I've tried to do these things and do that, treat people the way that I want to be treated. And it's just like not working. So like, fuck it. Like I'm going to like lash out in a way that like I'm going to be seen and heard. And like if you're going to fucking treat me like a certain way, then like I'm going to treat you, like I'm going to come back at you like times 1,000. Do you know what I mean? Like no one's going to fucking disrespect me or victimize me or make me feel like belittle me. Like that's just not going to happen. Like probably around like 15-ish, I decided that. And then kind of like all through high school, like I kind of like, or I would say maybe a little after 15, like towards the end of high school, I kind of like decided that. And then like in my 20s, I like really like, I don't know, that's just like the person I became. And then after just like living that lifestyle for so long, I just realized that like that isn't who I am. You know what I mean? Like that isn't who, like, I feel like when you're born, like, I feel like there are things you can change about yourself, like as life goes on, but there's also things that like you're just born with. Do you know what I mean? Like that you can't change, and or that not that you can't change, but are just like those are your characteristics, and that's like who you are, and you have this like voice inside of you that that no matter what you're doing, like you know like whether or not you're like in alignment with what that voice is telling you. And I feel like I feel like I just kind of was like not fucking listening to that voice like throughout all my 20s. Like I was like insanely destructive, self-destructive. I had like problems with like alcohol. Thank God I never like got into like hard drugs. Do you know what I'm saying? Like but yeah, I fucking like I was very like indulgent in like my own like emotions and like feelings, and I lashed out like against the world that I felt like turned its back on me.
What what was the point where you would say you realized that this isn't who you are? You know what I mean? Because it seems like it was such an ongoing thing for such a long time that it's not easy to just one day wake up and be like, yo, this is not who I am. So what was that turning point? Like, when was that?
I don't know if I could pinpoint a time, but I would say like jiu-jitsu, like starting, like getting back into martial arts, like really helped me find, like, or I guess feel comfortable with like and safe, like being me. Do you know what I'm saying? Definitely like around the time that I got back into training and decided like, this is what I'm gonna fucking do. Like I love this. Like I don't care. Like what? Like I don't care about anything else. Like I'm just going to do this. So probably like, I don't know, 6 years ago, maybe a little before that. Like I rescued my dog, and that gave me something to like live for. Like all of a sudden I had to be like, I had to be home. So I didn't I couldn't stay out and like drink, and I couldn't like stay out and fucking do this or that. Like I had to be home to like take care of something that was like totally relying on me. And that was kind of like the catalyst, like rescuing my dog.
So, in terms of martial arts, what do you think it's done for your life? Uh, Aside from like martial ability, you always talk about how like this is your path, and regardless of what happens, if you break your knee and can't walk again, like you'll sit on the mats and like learn how to teach people and make that your like it seems like no matter what happens, unless your head's chopped off, like you're going to just continue doing this, and it doesn't matter if you don't have money, it doesn't matter if you don't have literally anything or like whatever, like this is your path that you've decided on. One, what do you mean exactly when you say like a martial path? And two, like what is finding that done for your life?
It's entirely changed like the course of my life. I don't know where I'd be without jiu-jitsu. I mean, I was like introduced to martial arts when I was a kid. I started with Taekwondo, and then when I was in high school, I boxed, and that was like my first introduction to jiu-jitsu. Like, I fucking seen like Wanderlei Silva on like Pride, like kneeing the fuck out of someone, and I was like, this is sick. Like, I need to learn how to do this. So, and then I also like fucking Bruce Lee. Like, I love that shit. Like from when I was a kid, you know what I mean? Just the philosophy of everything. And I found this place that taught like it said like JKD, MMA, Muay Thai, and I was like, damn, like I gotta go here. So I signed up, and like that was my introduction to like just to grappling. Some guy came and he taught jiu-jitsu on Saturdays, and I remember thinking like I like loved all the other shit, but I remember thinking like, holy shit, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Like something about the connection and the fluidity and just like the momentum and like the presence of mind and just like the escape, like and just like the camaraderie around it. Like I never really forgot how that made me feel. So later on in my life, when like after I rescued Chance, I was doing like a lot of reading, like because like now I'm not out late. You know what I mean? I'm like at home with my dog. I'm like trying to occupy my mind, and like I'm not fucking like drinking and shit. So like my mind is actually starting to like evolve and grow, and like I'm not like smothering like that inner me. You know what I mean? Like so I started reading. I read Book of Five Rings, and in it he says like Musashi says like the way is in training. Like you have to be training, like basically. Like you can't just read these words. You have to like practice them, and you have to practice them like unremittingly.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like over and over and over. Like you can't like just fucking read this book and have it like all of a sudden this like awakening. Like you have to like learn this through experience. So I was like, oh shit, okay. Maybe this is the time to like get back into training. So I called my friend who had been training for a long time. I signed up at the gym that day, and like my life has been entirely different since. Pretty much every day since then I've been at the gym, like at least 5 days a week since then. How it's affected my life, I feel like I'm comfortable being me. Like I was always like afraid to be me, because like at the beginning of my life, like being me got me like fucking punched in my head. Do you know what I mean? Like being me got me like made fun of. Being me got me like made me feel like I fucking didn't belong anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say like what jiu-jitsu has done for me is like I don't like care now like as much. You know what I mean? Like I'm comfortable being me, and like being me and has led me to like such beautiful things. Like you know what I mean? Like even like being here with you guys. Like if I didn't start training again, like I wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So I attribute like every single thing in my life, like as far as like a positive thing, to jiu-jitsu and to getting back into martial arts.
Yeah, that's do you think that, first of all, like I think that's beautiful, and it's like in terms of like, you know, your past and how you grew up and everything, and I know you like sometimes you think about it a lot, because why wouldn't you think about that a lot? I think that like where you're at in life is like such a sick place to be at. And I think that in terms of like feelings of blame or like anything like that, everyone has like regrets. Like I haven't had the life that you have, and I overthink things that have happened to me. And I have regrets, and sometimes I'll be like, I could have done this. Imagine I had done this. It would have went this way. Damn, I should try again, or something crazy, and it's not even close to some of the things that you've experienced in your life. So I think just like this is just my little personal opinion in terms of like your life and where you're at and your path in this life with jiu-jitsu and just like not even aside from jiu-jitsu, just like self-improvement. I think you're like making leaps and bounds and have been making leaps and bounds. And you can't, like, as cliche as it is to say, like you can't get up without falling. And like do you believe in destiny? Like all that stuff that happened had to have happened for you to feel this way. Like you wouldn't feel this, like let's say what you feel for martial arts, the way you feel it, had it not been for everything that happened. You maybe would like it, like and would like, you know, you'd fuck with it, but that doesn't mean you'd feel it in the same way and it would do as much for you because there's nothing for it to act upon, if that makes sense. What do you think about destiny?
I definitely believe in destiny. I've thought of the exact thing, like what you just said to me, like I think of pretty much like every day, like that will cross my mind. I like don't know how I'm not dead. I don't know how I'm not in prison. I don't know like how I'm sitting here right now. I have no idea. And like, I'm sure like a lot of people like don't know fucking how I'm not dead or in prison either. Do you know what I mean? Like the people who I like grew up hanging out with and like a lot of kids I grew up with are fucking dead. They like, you know, they overdosed on fucking heroin. Like they fucking are in prison. Like, and when I think of like some specific scenarios that like I've been involved in and like the intricacies that like I won't go into, but I like don't, it's like more than luck, bro. Like there's been times where I'm like, oh shit, it's fucking over for me. And like somehow like I'm fucking here and it's not over. Do you know what I'm saying? And to me that like I like really feel like even if like there is no destiny, like I'm going to treat it as if like those things happened so that I can do this. Do you know what I mean? Because that's like the only way like that I can like rationalize it. Like I don't know like how I'm here. So yes, I believe in destiny, and yes, like that's true. Like I don't know if I would view life the way that I view it had I not gone through those things. I don't know if I could be as appreciative as I am about my life now without having gone through those things. I don't know if I could like really like understand like the fragility of life without having gone through those things. And so like in a way like it's a blessing to have gone through those things. It's like a gift. Do you know what I mean? Like to be like to be born like sensitive and like and empathetic and to understand like what the fuck is happening around you and to like really bear witness to like the highs and lows of life is a gift. Like not everyone gets to experience that. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So yes, I believe in destiny.
Can you define it?
Define
if you were to have to give your definition, it doesn't even have to be correct, or what do you, if you were to say what is destiny, what would you say it is? Destiny is what you're born to do. So like, people are born to do things. I think everyone has like a purpose, a reason that they're put here, like and like someone, everyone like fits into like a grand plan. That's what I think.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. And the way you describe destiny in terms of like you said, even if it's not true, even if that doesn't exist, but it's your way of rationalizing it and making sense of your life, because I think that's a beautiful way to put it, because I think if everyone could do that, it provides a sense of hope, you know what I mean? Because it makes you feel like even if all that stuff didn't happen in the past, even if right now you're going through something like really tough, you know what I mean? You could see it as destiny, because in the future, you know, it's like cliche, people are like, oh, like things will get better later, you know what I mean? But like that's pretty much what we're talking about, you know, like even if things are tough now, later on it will be better, you know what I mean? Because it's just like a roller coaster of life. And do you believe that peace is achievable in this life? Like, is there, like, you know, we talk about like monks on the show all the time, and we even like personally and stuff, how like, you know, they exclude themselves into the mountains, and like that is the true form of enlightenment and peace, and like really secluding yourself from society. And, you know, some would say, yeah, like they're achieving fucking Bodhidharma and like enlightenment and shit, you know? And, but who knows, dude, you know? Like they might be up there in solitude, truly like thinking about everything they went through in their life and being at war, but physically they look completely at peace, you know? Who knows, you know? And pretty much my question is, do you think that peace, as by definition, is attainable, or in a way we have to experience the yin and yangs? You pretty much answered it kind of, but like, do you think peace is achievable? And like, what is your definition of peace in your life right now?
So crazy. I was like thinking about this exact thing when I was like walking to the store earlier. Like, I don't know. I think that it's something that you could like strive towards, but I feel like everything has like a tide and like a season and a rise and a fall. Like, that's the natural order of things. Like, is there anything that's like totally constant in this world? Like is there? I don't know. Like, I don't think there is. Like, most things decay, like most things fall apart, most things like fade, most things come and go.
Even matter like changes.
Exactly, yeah. Like this fucking table, it's gonna be dust one day. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so why, just because that applies to physical, like, why wouldn't that apply to like things that aren't physical, like conceptual things, like non-literal, like, do you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like peace is like something to strive towards, at least for me. I've been in crazy like blissful states inside my mind, and I've also been at the lowest of lows. So yeah, I think peace is a good thing to like strive towards, but I don't think that, I think you must experience the yin and the yang.
Yeah, no, it's a perfect way of saying it. And before you've told me about your DMT experience, you know, how it made you realize some things about life. And my question is, do you think that psychedelic experiences are kind of just experiences, as the word is, you know what I mean? You just kind of like be like, oh, that was kind of cool, whatever, you know, take some bits from it? Or do you think that is truly what life is, like seeing those visions and what you feel in those moments? Like, is that, like, what do you think about
like psychedelic experience?
Yeah, or like your DMT experience, like what happened there, and you know, like just expanding your mind through those things. So
my DMT experience, I guess like I could like speak on that, and then like I'll tell you like what I think of it. So I fucking, for some reason, I'd like never done psychedelics before, like ever, like not a single one. I was mad scared. You know what I mean? Like the DARE program, like makes you afraid of every single fucking thing when you're a kid. They like tell you like, you know what I mean? Like you do like a mushroom and then you're fried like for the rest of your life. But so I started like, for some reason I was like, damn, I want to try DMT. I don't know why, but I really want to try it. And I kept having these thoughts like reoccurring for like weeks. And then I went to a friend's house and he's like, yo, have you ever done DMT? Like, he's like, I have some. And I was like, oh shit, you do? And he's like, yeah. And he like points, and there's like this statue that he had, and it was like, its hands were outstretched, and there was like a little like DMT pen. And he's like, yo, take that and like use it whenever you want. And I was like, okay. So I went and I tried to use it. And at first it wasn't working. Like I hit it. Like everyone's like, take 3 good hits and like you'll be money. And I fucking hit it 3 times, and like I started to trip and shit, and I started to like see. I think it was good, honestly, like the way that this happened to me. Like because I was mad fucking nervous. I was like, shit, like I'm about to do something that's going to like put me in like another like fucking like state of consciousness, like, or like put me, like people describe it as like you're out of your body, like you're out of this world, like you break through is like what people say. So I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means. So like I would hit it, and then like I started feeling like a warm, like welcoming sensation. And I was like, oh shit, okay, like, so I'm not scared of it. Like immediately like the fear went away, but I was like, why the fuck can't I break through or whatever, you know? Like I'm still here, like in my room. And I was with someone else doing it, and they had a breakthrough experience. And then I'm like, fuck, what the like, why can't I like make this work? You know what I'm saying? So I like look at them. I was like, yo, leave the room for a minute. Like, let me fucking be alone. And I was like, I'm going to fucking hit this pen until like I legit like cannot, like, until I can't hit it. Do you know what I mean? So I just kept ripping it. And then I was looking out my window, and the first thing I remember is like the trees, like everything was connected. I was like looking, and I was like, damn, they're kind of like roots like busting through the fucking surface of the earth. Like, and then like the sky was like everything was on like a movie projector almost. And then I seen like you know how like everyone says they see like the alien? Like I seen the alien dude, and he was like in the clouds, and he came to my window, and I was like, oh shit, like I was like, why won't you take me? Like, why won't you show me? And he was like, or she, or whatever, it was like, why would we like show you this? Like, you've caused so much destruction in your life. You've been so ungrateful. Like, why would we bless you with this? And I like, it ended up being like, I fell to my knees, like I was crying, I was begging for forgiveness from like the universe, the world, like whatever this force was. And then I remember just like the clouds moved and there was like a chariot, and then I was just like gone. Like I was in like a black like hall, and there was just like a pinhole of light, but it was so fucking far away, and then I like went through it. And then I just remember like coming back, my hands were together like this, like touching, and I could feel electricity like flowing through my body, like a current of electricity. And my hands were glowing and like radiating light out of them. And I was looking at my hands and like my fingers, and I was like moving them, thinking about like how like we're the only thing on this planet that has like hands basically like this, like with thumbs that, you know what I mean? Like not the only thing, but like pretty much the only thing. And that's what's given us like the advantage as creatures, and like allowed us to evolve and use tools and do things that other animals can't. And I heard like the voice talking to me, telling me like think about like what you could do like with your hands. Like think about the things that have been done with human hands. Like and then I sat there and like I came down. I kind of like, I would describe it as like a ladder, like I was like slowly coming down. And then so like to answer your question, like do I think that they're just experiences, like do I think their experiences like, oh cool, or do I think it's like real?
Yeah, like you know, we've talked to Mike Giant about like hallucinations, and like do you think they're just hallucinations, like just chemical compositions like that make you just visualize these things, or do you think that those are real experiences, like real meanings and like beings and stuff like that, you know?
I mean, I guess that's like subjective, but like to me that's a real experience. Like even if it's just a hallucination, like I feel like I derived like a lot. I learned a lot from that experience. And like I have like I've used like mushrooms, like, you know what I'm saying? I've had like pretty deep and like what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's been a learning experience. Like I've learned so much about myself like through like psychedelics, and like I never try to treat them as like, oh, I'm gonna fucking take a handful of mushrooms and like
party
and fucking party. Like I feel like that's like crazy disrespect, bro.
Yeah.
Like I would not want to like know what would like, at least for me, like that is not what those are on, like put here on this world for me to do that. Like they're for me, they're like a medicine and a tool and like a guide. You know what I'm saying? And they're not to be like fooled around with or like abused. To me, they're sacred things. I have only done DMT once, and I don't have like the desire to. Like, I would do it again but only if I like feel that desire, if it's like presented to me. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think about choice? Do we actually have choices? For example, in your life, did you have any choice to not be who you were when you were younger? And then when you decided to start making little changes which added up, was that a choice, or was it like, of course it was a choice, but I mean, like, was that just like the only way? Like, was there just no other way? So for example, you were born into a situation that you had essentially no choice of, in an environment which you also had no choice of, and you reacted in a way that's where like the choice could begin, if there is any, or maybe it was just kind of already set for you on some destiny shit. So what do you think in terms of choice? So
I definitely think about this a lot, as you know, but like it's hard to decide. I feel like there's some type of like middle ground, because at first, like, you can't, like you said, like you're born into a situation you don't choose. And then like, especially when you're young and you're developing, like you can't really choose anything. But then like, I feel like you do get to a point where you can make choices, but those choices are limited to like the environment that you're fucking born in that you didn't get to choose. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, or to like your current like situation, like you can like I can only make choices that are like available to me to make.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Which like could be radically different from like someone else's choices that are available. So like I do believe in choice, but I don't know, bro. Like there's like way smarter people out there that say there's like no free will, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I think about that shit all the time, and I like don't know what to make of it. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as free will and choice, I feel I'd like to think that I'm in charge of the choices that I make, but who knows? I feel like it's probably somewhere in the middle, as far as like choice and destiny. Like I feel like we have the ability to make choices, but only within like
A spectrum.
a spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that, and I've been like writing on it in terms of destiny and stuff, just because of recently I've just come into contact with people who have had severely like drastically different life spectrum of choices in front of them, and I was thinking about destiny and came to my realization, which is that there's pretty much zero objective proof that a destiny exists. Like there's no mathematical and scientific proof, or pretty much any type of proof that destiny exists. Like not just mathematical or scientific, like any type of proof. There's no type of proof that a destiny exists, and there's pretty much no type of proof of any of that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't, because like, well, mathematical and scientific proofs are not the only type of proof that's valid. But if you have no type of proof at all, well, then that's a whole different story. But then I was thinking like, okay, so some people are born into a situation that is so, it seems as if, it like appears as if they drew a bad hand of cards. So what can you attribute that to? And I think to myself, well, you can only attribute it to like a number of things. Like out of everything that could, what's the reason for that? What is the reason that they drew a bad hand of cards? You could think it's randomness, like entropy, random choice. Like none of this has any meaning, and you just drew a bad hand of cards because fucking things happen. Like when you're mowing the lawn, some blades of grass happen to hit the blade of the lawnmower and get cut shorter than others. So 2 weeks later, those ones are higher, like by sheer seemingly chance. The grass could be like it was meant to be, but maybe it was just goddamn the lawnmower happened to start to the left a little bit more, so the blade hit it at a different angle. So one is randomness, and then the other one is just I guess destiny. Like there is a higher purpose, and then the last one that I could have possibly thought of, like it could be one of these three things, is choice, like not in terms of the blade of grass, but in terms of like the human. Like once he or she is born, like they have the ability to choose what happens after their baseline scenario, because there's no short of stories of people who were born in the most ass scenarios ever in like countries that were like, you literally, there's no one in this like neighborhood that has a good scenario. Like I was like on some, like I was sitting and a bomb landed in my neighborhood and like shrapneled everybody. So like that type of thing. And I don't know, I was just wondering, like, you know, your thoughts on destiny and versus choice versus randomness, because sometimes it does appear that there's like a destiny. Like some people's lives are set up in a way where you're like, maybe this person is the proof that there's destiny, because look at how their life played out. Like I think about your life and all the stuff you've been through and where you are today, like on some like, who are you? Because you say that you're not that, you're who you are today, or you are like what you were doing and all this stuff was influenced by smothering who you actually were, right? And then it's just like how, like I'm kind of losing my train of thought a little bit, but it's just like so crazy to think of all this stuff. Oh yeah, and how your life played out, and now your main thing is like you were like, if I think of someone who's like empathetic, I think of you. If I think of someone who's like always kind and like trying to like be nice, like I think of you. And if I think of someone who's like selfless to the point where like, in my opinion, it can almost be like harmful, because like sometimes it's like, it's not time to be selfless. You know what I mean? Sometimes like it's time to be selfish. Besides the point, like I think of you like a selfless person, and obviously your life was not always like that. And it's just like bugged out to think of like the yin and yangs and the like flow of the current of life and how it's played out.
Yeah. No, definitely. I've like thought a lot about it, and I'm like, well, at least I'm like malleable. Like I can adapt. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I can like flow with like what's happening, especially now. Like I feel like I just kind of like let things like occur. Like I try not to resist. I try to like feel like momentums and currents, and I try to like ride those things. But yeah, to like what you're saying as far as like people being born in crazy situations and like coming out of them. Yeah, it's fucking insane, some of the shit that you hear about. Like it's like some people, I'm like, damn, you have no chance. Like think about like the cycles that exist. Like even like when we fucking go down the street to the store, dude, like the guy that fucking sleeps in that little like awning, like in the cardboard and shit. Like dude, like could that guy like really get himself out of that? Like people have done it. But like how many people?
It's going to take immense effort.
Yeah.
Like to the point where like who knows how his brain is even doing.
Exactly.
To even start that effort up.
Yeah. No.
And where's he going to get that influence from? Because a lot of effort comes through like influence. You hear stories, you see on the computer.
Yeah.
But is he seeing anything on any computer? No.
No, he's not. And he's seeing fucking people around him every day like walk past him and not give a fuck about him. Like not like even like look at him like as a human being. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like that's what gets me like so mad, dude. Like I fucking like I can't take that shit, bro. When I see that, like I can't take it. I get so mad. Like so as far as like my selflessness, like I'm like fuck it. I had a chance like to be like selfish and to like you know what I mean? I like feel like I used a part of my life where like I could have been like I don't know how to say this. Like, I need to like pay it back, dude. I've like taken too much. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, I don't know. Like, so what were you saying? Like, as far as like choice goes, like,
just like, how much choice do you feel like you have?
Do I feel like I have?
I guess today.
Do I feel like I have today? I feel like I definitely have more choices than I used to. I feel like there's a point in life when you like, that you get to and you like have to like accept like what has happened, what is, and then you have to like move on from it. But then like also like you have to take into account like your mental health. Like I have a lot of trouble like focusing. I have a lot of trouble like some days I wake up and I'm like, oh fuck, like I could do anything today. Do you know what I mean? Like my mind is clear. Like I can like I get everything that I want to get done and more, and like I can't wait to fucking like tell everyone about it, and I'm like fucking excited. And then the next day, like for no reason, I can wake up and like I can just like feel so low. Like especially like this week, I've been feeling like mad low. And I'm like, why? My life's fucking sick. Like every day this week something sick has happened. Do you know what I mean? But still like inside my head, like I just like have something telling me that like I'm nothing, or like I can't do something, or like I can't do this. And like, is that a product of like how I grew up and the people I grew up around? Like probably. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. Like how much I definitely would say that as you get older, you have the ability to make more choices, and you have the ability to take control of your own life, and you just have to do the fucking best that you can. Like one day, like if you feel like you're not living like in alignment with like who you really are, like then one day you have to just fucking decide like that now is the day that I'm changing, and then every day it's going to be a battle. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask, what is your thoughts on faith and religion? Because from knowing you, it seems like you, like me personally, you kind of take a little from everything and just form your own conception of reality and like the world and what you believe in. And I see you reading a lot of like Eastern philosophy texts and like applying them to your life and all that kind of stuff. And so, what are your thoughts on faith and like what's like you were speaking about like the voice, like what keeps you going, pretty much, like what gets you through the day?
Okay, so as far as faith goes, yeah. So you're that's like kind of how I feel. Like I'm very interested in religious texts, like Christianity. I like grew up going to Catholic school and stuff. So I'm like familiar with those stories, but also like through martial arts, I've been introduced to like a lot of different like philosophies, and just through like reading, like even like outside of like religious like texts, like just like psychologists and like philosophers, like I try to take what makes sense to me from my experience and and that's like what I believe. You know, I'm very like, I would say I don't want to like call myself anything, but I definitely identify with Taoism, like and Zen, like Buddhism, but also like Christianity, like not like Christianity like as like it's portrayed by like fucking, you know what I'm saying, like these like how the Vatican or like these institutions like portray like Christianity, but just as like conceptual Christianity, like I take a lot from those texts. And I do believe that like faith is like a real thing, like because I've always had this like thought in my mind like it's going to be okay, and I don't know if like that's me thinking it or if that's like some, you know what I mean, if that's like something putting that in my head, like just like keep going. So as far as like what gets me through the day, jiu-jitsu gets me through the day. Like currently you guys get me through the day. I like can't wait to fucking chill with you guys like every day when you know what I mean? Like when I wake up, like I fucking love seeing you guys. I love like being like a part of like what you guys have going on. Like I love like being able to like help people. Like that like really like if there's a day where I could get up and just fucking help people like all day long, like I would love it. Like that'd be like the best day of my life. Like yeah, so pretty much.
Why do you do True Path Jiu-Jitsu, which is essentially, well, you can explain what it is.
So, yeah, I guess this is like a cool story. Speaking of like destiny, and so the way I started True Path, like one day I had like a crazy dream. I like don't even remember it. I just remember waking up and I was like crying and I was like, I know what I'm going to fucking do. Like I told like my ex-girlfriend at the time, like I know what I'm going to do. Like I'm going to start a nonprofit and I'm going to help kids. And this was pretty insane, like as far as like synchronicity goes and like shit like that. Or at least I think it was pretty insane. I took my dog. I was walking down the street. I walked past this guy. He's like smoking a cigar in a Jeep. Crazy like old guy, Marine decals all over the Jeep. He like hangs out the window with a cigar and he's like, yo, nice dog. And I was like, cool. Like, you want to pet him? And he gets out of the car and we start talking. And he's like, yeah, you know, the Marine Corps mascot is a bulldog. Yeah. Like, and I'm like, oh yeah, like chesty puller, like blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, did you like serve? And I'm like, no. I just like read military history. Like you know what I mean? I like know who that guy is, whatever. And he starts asking me like what I do. And I'm like, oh, I do jiu-jitsu, blah, blah, blah. And he's a martial artist. And he starts telling me like, about his experience in the military. He's a martial artist. And I'm like, at the end of the conversation, I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? Like, what are you up to? You know what I mean? Like we had just talked for like 30 minutes. I'm like, what are you doing for the rest of the day? He's like, oh, I teach a class in the library on how to start nonprofit businesses and like run them. And I was like, oh shit, are you serious? Do you know what I mean? Because I just like explained to my girlfriend at the time, like I'm going to start this fucking nonprofit around martial arts, blah, blah, blah. And I think like about the details of that situation alone, like, yo, if I hadn't rescued my dog, like I wouldn't have like I wouldn't have gotten back into training. Like I wouldn't have had this guy wouldn't have like yelled out his window to me. Like I wouldn't have met him. I went on to like take this dude's class. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he introduced me to people that like helped me and like connections that I have like to this day. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so as far as what True Path is, we are a brand. We sell clothing and we fundraise to sponsor at-risk kids into jiu-jitsu schools. Currently, we operate in Massachusetts, New York, California, and Pennsylvania. And like in the future, I hope to operate in every state in the country.
Operate meaning that in those places that you named, there's kids at gyms, and you're paying for their gym fees so that they can train with more ease.
Yeah, so basically, like when I was a kid, like my first introduction to martial arts, like I wanted to be committed, but I didn't have like a ride every day. I didn't have like the money like to, you know what I mean? The shit's expensive. And I think about like, okay, fuck, like if I had that, like maybe I wouldn't have had to go through all the shit I like went through, or like I would have, because like when I think of jiu-jitsu, I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like it makes sense to me. Like you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm like the best at fucking jiu-jitsu or nothing like that, but I'm like, when I'm like doing it, I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. Like I belong here. Like I have peace of mind. Like even if it's for the hour that I'm on the mat, like that is the peace of mind like that I'd say like I strive for, like when I'm training. If I could have that peace at all times, like that is what the peace that I would choose. So we sell products, we take the money, and we pay for kids to train. So we talk to guidance counselors, like principals, mental health counselors, police. We find kids who are in difficult situations, and then we facilitate the training process. We find a gym near them, and we get them training.
That's amazing, man, honestly. Like ever since you started doing that, and ever since I've heard about it, like I always thought that was like an amazing thing, you know what I mean? And because you yourself, you know what it is to be, let's say, an at-risk youth, you know what I mean? To be in those situations, to grow up in those scenarios. So what kind of changes have you seen? Have you seen changes in like the confidence in the kids and their like mental well-being, like just happiness level, like from starting this program?
Yeah, like so like that is easily the fucking best part about it. When like a mom will text me and be like, you know, I'm not going to say anyone's name, but like such and such is having such a good time. Like such and such, like I've never seen them like more full of energy, or like a kid will be like, dude, I'm down like 30 pounds. Like I lost weight. Like, and then they want to like eat better because then they want to train more, you know what I'm saying? And it's like a cascade of like positivity. That's easily the most rewarding thing. And like just having someone be like, hey, like thank you for this opportunity, like hearing kids' stories that are like by far worse than mine, and like knowing that I'm like at least like fucking helping them, because like for me, I'm like, damn, like I feel like no one reached out to help me, you know what I'm saying? Which like maybe it's not anyone's fucking like it's not someone else's responsibility to help me or to help anyone else, but like I don't agree. Like I like helping people. I think it is like my responsibility to help someone if I can. And someone who like may not get, like there are plenty of like I mean, when you're going to school, like you see people like reach out like within different like I guess like lifestyles and like subcultures and like sports teams and everything, but there's always like fucking like the weird kids who like don't get help from fucking anybody. And like those are the people I want to help. Like I want to be the person that like helps the people that don't get help from anyone else. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. How is you know, a lot of the True Path graphics that are on the t-shirts or hoodies have a lot to do with Eastern philosophy, like we were talking about earlier? That's something that has influenced you. Not one of the first books you read, but one of the books that you read that had a great impact on you is Musashi's Book of Five Rings. I know you've read like a bunch of the Buddhist texts, a bunch of the Taoist texts, and a bunch of the martial arts texts that aren't like martial arts manuals, more so like philosophy, like Mind Over Muscle and stuff like that, or like The Way of Walking Alone. What would you say you've gained from essentially the studies of these philosophies, where their main thing isn't to go to heaven after your death, and their main thing isn't to worship like one deity, but their main thing's more so like, I guess, self-discovery, analyzation, and improvement for the today? What would you say you've gained from this search?
I think I'm like starting to realize like who I am and like be able to validate myself like based on my actions, and like not on like where I've like looked for validation in other people or from other people like for a long time, you know what I mean? I've been like, yo, why don't these kids like me? Like what, you know what I mean? Like maybe if I do this, maybe if I do that. But like I think it's just given me the ability to like sit still, to like be okay with doing nothing, and like just like looking inside. as far as like Mind Over Muscle goes, like I really fuck with that book. I fuck with the 3 levels of judo, like you know what I mean, like the martial ability, then the ability, like the 3rd level of judo, like how he says like you must use your martial arts to like make society better. Like that's what I agree with. Like, and that's what I feel like martial arts should be really used for. Like, I mean, anyone can like show up to the gym every day and like learn how to fight and then kick someone's ass, and like that's impressive. But like, how can you use like what you're learning in the gym to like change like the face of the world? And that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, that reminded me. So like the Hokare talks about if you distinguish between the tatami mat and the battlefield, the tatami mat being like the practice room, then you'll never I guess make it, whatever that could mean. But like if you distinguish between the mat and the battlefield, or like you're never gonna make it. And you know, like actually taking everything you can from the situation that you're in and learning from it and then applying it to your greater life, I think is something that is super important. On obviously everybody says that, and it's like kind of a cliche thing, but it is true and very difficult to actually do. It's very difficult to actually like see everything that you could be seeing while it's happening, and then applying it, all those things that you should have seen, to like a greater purpose. In terms of like and another quote from like the Hokari, which I'm gonna like ramble on, but there's this guy, and then he was saying like every single day for mad long he started writing down his flaws, and he would keep like a book of all his like flounderings. And after so long he realized there was not one day where he didn't make like a massive flaw. And he says like he thought he knew things, and then as time goes on he changed his mind and realized he thought he knew other things, and this was just a repeating cycle. And he truly like sat and like pretty much looked to the sky and wondered to himself like, I wonder when I will finally understand the supreme level. What do you think about your searchings and what you know, and when you will reach the supreme level?
Oh man. All right, so hold on, let's rewind to the beginning. You were talking about like differentiating like the tatami from the battlefield.
Yeah.
And
which you should not do.
Yeah, no, Musashi says the same thing. He says like you should walk the way like that you walk in like normal life, in the way that you approach like a sword fight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Oh my God. Dude, okay, so as far as reaching the supreme level, like I don't think that like there is a supreme level that can be reached. I think like you're constantly striving to be better, and that you have to like continue to practice every single day, and like just try to be better than you were yesterday. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Holy fuck, dude, I lost my train of thought so bad.
Well, can I say something?
Yeah.
I was just like reference another book, and it's like basically it's from the Hokari actually, and it's like 2 of the writings, and one of them was like the swordsman like Lord Yagyu, who would pretty much killed a bunch of people with his sword. Mm-hmm. And never lost a fight or something like that. Probably like an urban legend or something. And then they asked him, like some like measly man asked him like, how did you defeat like so many men? Like, how can I do the same thing? Like, what's the path to defeat all these men? And then he was like, and this ties into what you just said about being better than yourself of yesterday. He said that he actually doesn't know how to defeat any other men. And all he knows is the path to defeat himself by just being better than his self of yesterday. And then the other writing says that the word sage is in Japanese, which I'm definitely going to pronounce wrong, is made of 2 characters. The first one being he, and the second one being jiri. And that just like jiri means like flaws, and he means like no, or something like that. So what a sage is someone who knows their own flaws, and they claim that you can even reach like fucking Bodhidharma by knowing your own flaws and just eradicating them day after day. And this is just a lifelong practice. In terms of like what you said and what I was saying of the distinguishing between like the mat and the real world, I really do think that what you do is what you do. Like how you act like here is just how you act. obviously you act different sometimes in front of different people and depending on the circumstance, but meaning like if you procrastinate washing your dishes, like you're going to be a procrastinator, and like you're going to procrastinate when the final moment comes. Like when you're actually on the battlefield, your ass will procrastinate then too, because that's just what your pattern has been.
Yeah.
And I think that if like you're a giver, then you're gonna be a giver if someone needs a pen, and you're gonna be a giver if someone needs X amount of $100 to train jujitsu, because this is just like your life pattern. It's like people who say, and I'm not excluded, like I'm so sorry I got angry. I'm not gonna get angry with you again. But like I would have to change my entire life for that to be true.
Yeah.
Because I might just be an upset person, and like when I get angry in the morning, well, I might get angry later somewhere else because I'm just doing this even behind closed doors. When no one's watching, like you might be just feeding that habit. And I don't really know where I'm going with this, but yeah.
But yeah, you also mentioned like how people like say these words. Like I'm pretty like, you know what I'm talking about? You said something like you were talking about these books, and like samurai means to serve. Like, right? Like it means to serve. Like mad people, like especially in martial arts, they're fucking talking like samurai this, samurai that. They fucking like can recite to you like the 7 virtues of Bushido, like, and it's fucking easy to recite them, but like, can you really like live them? Like, and can you say honestly that you live like that? Like, I don't know. Like, but I definitely agree with like what you're saying. Like how you do one thing is how you do everything, or at least it's how you could do everything. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I definitely procrastinate with certain things, but like I'll always be at jiu-jitsu practice. I have a fucked up leg. Like I'm still at jiu-jitsu practice. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'll do whatever it takes to get to jiu-jitsu practice.
Like truly whatever.
No, I will, dude. Like I will. Like I yeah. Like
so I feel like when you want to do something, it is true. For the most part, there are exceptions, but I feel like when you want to do something, I'm not talking about. Okay, anyways, I feel like when you want to do something, no excuse and no, not even excuse, but literal obstacle and hindrance.
Nothing will get in your way.
Nothing's gonna get in the way.
Like nothing will get in my way to getting to jiu-jitsu, bro. Unless it's like something that I want to do more than that, or like know that I like have to do more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But if you don't want to actually do something, anything is enough to stop it.
Yeah.
Whether it be like literally anything.
And
anything will be like, oh, but this because of that piece.
But like also it's crazy because like you can like want certain things and then not like do the things that.
But does that mean you want it?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think there's like a battle of like I want this versus that. I kind of want this, but I kind of want that more. Like I would like to be in shape, but damn, yo, this would be mad good to eat right now. So although I truly want to be in shape, like I truly want this more right now. You know what I mean? What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say that I've seen examples of, you know, like he was saying, it's one thing to say all this shit. Like you said, it's easy to recite all the 7 virtues of Bushido, but it's another to live it. And like a good example of what I've witnessed you do is, you know, when we drove across the country, right? For example, it was like a 3 or 4 day journey
of like 18 hours every day.
18 hours you drove straight with not saying a single word or a complaint.
No complaint.
And like whenever someone would look over at you,
complaint is like appropriate for neither oneself nor others.
Dude, when we would look over at you, you would look exactly the same as if it was 10 minutes into the drive or 18 hours. And you were just like single-minded fucking Ichin, like, you know, like mountain man. And like, fucking, that's it, dude. It's like so... It's crazy. Like, you really do, like, practice what you preach is what I'm trying to say.
I try. I feel like I don't do that good every day. Like, some days are better than others for sure.
I think that's just self-analyzation. Because I think you do mad good. Like, I'm, like, literally, like, proud that you're my friend. Like, I'm literally, like, proud of it. Which, like, I don't always feel that way. Like, sometimes I'll look at people and think, like, of, like, shamness. And, like, you know, like, I'll just go off on tangents. Like, the smallest thing, and I'll be like... But with you, like, I truly feel like you're a good person. You're striving to help people. And, like, I feel like everything that you've been through, like, you know, it's obvious, like, makes you who you are. And, like, you can read certain things and resonate with them more than anyone else could. Not anyone else, but most people could, more than I probably can, because of your experiences. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like just what Z said, like you're trying to practice what you preach. Like I feel like you're someone that if I was like, yo, tomorrow, like if I was to call you and be like, we have to start walking to like, I don't know, pick the farthest country you could probably pick. Like we have to start walking to India tomorrow because of and I could pretty much say any reason, like any reason. Like I'd just be like, cause I don't know, any reason, and then you'd be like, damn, but all right, I'll be there, like something like that. Like just like you'll just decide, and then you might really give up every other portion of whatever you had going on and just start walking. And like probably be gassed that you're on this walk, and
100%.
then end up convincing yourself, not that it's not true, but that like this walk is like, it's good that everything else got canceled. Like you recently hurt your knee doing jiu-jitsu and stuff, and like you said, like you literally will train every day. Like you're going to be at practice and you're going to make it no matter what, right? Mm-hmm. And so jiu-jitsu is like, it's not like some small thing to you. It's like your life, you know? So to not be able to roll is a pretty big deal. It's not like some, you know, like not everyone trains every day, but like if you're rolling every day and you haven't rolled for one day, like I haven't rolled because my back is like a little bit hurt for like literally like 5 days. And I was telling you last night, like I feel like a sham.
Yeah.
Like I literally feel like a sham, like a half-asser or whatever. But it's like I can't roll. But anyways, so and then you were saying like, although you were going on through all of this, like, and you were going through other stuff that I don't want to, you know, put your business out there, that it was like the greatest thing that could have happened to you.
No, it's truly a blessing.
Through some like Eastern philosophy thought process.
No, it has been a blessing. I've been able to like redirect my energies, and it's given me like opportunity to handle a situation like a fucking martial artist. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to be a fucking martial artist when like, oh, like every day is a little fucking fairy tale. I get to go to the gym and like roll and like everything's good and it's like warm. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just like easy, but like now's the chance for me to like really like put my money where my mouth is. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to complain. Like I'm not going to take it out on other people. Like I'm not. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm going to handle it like a fucking man, dude. Like and I'm going to make the best of it. You know, it's allowed me to put like tons more energy into True Path, which has been like a blessing. Like I've like organized a bunch of events that are coming up. And also it's just like shown me like who I am. Like you don't find out who you are until like the moment of truth. Like it's easy to be like, yeah, if I fucking blew my knee out, like I would act like this. Like, but then what happens when that happens? When you really blow your knee out, like what happens? Like, or it's easy to say like, I would do this for this person. Like I would go to any fucking length. Like I would have their back in any situation. Like, but then when the situation comes, like I've seen lots of people like, I don't know, like they say one thing and they do the other. This is like common. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it gave me the opportunity to really see who I am, mm-hmm. and to be able to, like, no one likes, like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you know when you like take some shit out on someone else? Like that's like shit I used to do, bro. Like I used to be pissed. Like I have a fucking bad day, and then like anyone who crosses my path, like they're gonna know it. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like I try to like flip that. I try to look at it as like this like knee getting hurt is like the best thing that's like ever happened to me in my entire life. Like now all my other injuries are healing. Like my body feels mad good. Like my mind feels sharp. Like when I go to the gym and I look, like now I'm like developing like observational skills that have like honestly been like hard for me to develop. Like bro, you know, I fucking space the fuck out sometimes, dude. And like now I'm like, well, like this is like I can't feel it today. Like I have to like see it and like understand it from like my vision. And yeah, I just think it's important to try to look at things that way. Obviously, every day is like different. Like some days I'm like, fuck, like I'm at the gym and like everyone's like dripping sweat and I'm like, God damn, I like want to train so bad, but I don't want to say that. I just want to like.
And you literally haven't said it. Like you haven't complained.
Yeah.
At all, and you haven't been like, damn, like you haven't done that.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
No, I know. I think that like in my past I've said a lot of empty words, and like I just had to like make a promise to myself that like if I fucking say something, like I'm not Like I'm gonna say like I'm like a samurai's word should be like as hard as metal. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it should be like when I say it, it's as good as done. Like I said, I'm not gonna fucking complain. I'm not going to allow this to take over my mind or to allow it to affect my life negatively. So I'm just not going to.
No, it's like I said, it's very impressive, and it's been like I've known you for pretty much a long time, but didn't get like close to you and actually start chilling with you up until like relatively recently, and it's just like truly been like sick to be like close with you and to chill with you and to talk to you and to observe the way that you live your life. Like I have a great appreciation for being able to observe the way people live their lives, and like you're definitely not an exception. Like I take a lot honestly from just the way that you live your life. And I think something I was thinking of throughout this episode was like in some interview, Kron Gracie, someone asked him like whose jiu-jitsu impresses you, and he was like pretty much nobody's, to be honest with you. Like it's very few people are the people whose jiu-jitsu impresses me. Like I grew up in jiu-jitsu, so it's hard. Like if you're faster and stronger and you beat someone, like that does not impress me. These are his words. If you're just like 10 times their size and you whatever smash them, like that does not impress me. If you just like have the upper hand because you've been training for just so much longer than them, like it doesn't impress me. Which kind of makes sense because like why would that impress someone?
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say it's like when you really understand like the way, like if you understand like technique, and it's like a Marcelo Garcia, like a really, really smaller opponent, seemingly has all the cards like stacked against him in this physical thing that's happening, and he wins, and it almost looks like he had all the cards in his favor, but it was all through technique. Like that impresses him. And in terms of like your life, it's like you haven't always had like all the cards in your favor. Now you have like a lot of more cards in your favor, and there's like a lot of more opportunity through just like everything that's been happening, but it hasn't always been that way. And then through all that, like you're able to have the mentality that you have, think that your knee getting hurt is the best thing that's ever happened to you in your life, like in your entire life. It's just an extreme statement. Like that's impressive. It's more impressive to be grateful for like life in that scenario than if like you just won $50 trillion and everything is actually a fairy tale and then you're grateful. Well, who's not going to be grateful in that scenario? Like everyone's going to be grateful in that scenario. And through like chilling with you, those are things about myself that I've been like trying to work on and just actually trying to improve, because like I know myself to an extent. I know what I'm good at, and I know through you more, like through observing your life and even just talking to you, like what I'm not good at. Like I'm like pretty good at having discipline, being ordered, and like, you know, working or whatever, but I'm like not good at other things. Like I'm not always the best at true like gratitude or like true empathy or like true I'm not going to say like satisfaction, but like it's hard for me to not think that even what I did was like a mediocre job, even if it like objectively later like was actually a pretty good job or something like that. And through knowing you, that's helped me like reveal those flaws. And I think that's like, I don't want a bunch of like yes men around me. And I don't think that the purpose of friends is to have yes men around you that never show you what the fuck's wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like you have to see it. What's the point of a friend if he's just going to be a yes man? Like,
dude, it's pretty sick, bro, how we like will sit around and like fucking be like, yo, what do you think is like my worst flaw?
Yeah.
Like that's a friend, bro.
Yeah. There's no, and you know what the sickest part is? Not the sickest part, but one thing that's cool is like being able to hear that and not flinch and feel things of ego of like, damn. Because you know what pisses me off? When, or irritates me, like when you talk to people about their flaws and like they don't have the capacity to hear it.
Yeah.
Like I understand not having the capacity to change it, because like I don't have the capacity to change like at the snap of a finger my own flaws. Like I've literally been trying mad hard, like actually legitimately trying. And it's like, you know, it is hard because those are things that are rooted inside of you for whatever reason. but like you have the capacity to hear it, or like I attempt to, at least the best that I can, like have the capacity to hear it, because you know it's coming from a point of like not trying to dump on you. It's trying to, you know, you have to see it for what it is. Like if someone has an alcohol problem, like a real friend doesn't just like, let's go to the bar. I don't want to be that
100%
annoying friend. Like a real friend's like, do you understand what you're doing? All those people who seem like your friend are not your friend. They're actually like feeding your thingy. And everyone has their thingy, whether it be alcoholism or even just judgmentalness or anything. And I think that it's like very sick to like, you know, have that in someone who's going to tell you what's good.
No, and I can definitely relate. Like since I've been chilling with you guys, like I've been pushing like I like watch how hard you guys work, bro. And first off, it gets me so fucking hype. Like but also like it like makes me realize like, yo, I can like do this. Like I see like how much you guys like have done like over the course of like the past year, and like it's like really like inspiring, bro. Like I like feel like damn, like I could really like do something big. Like I like my possibilities like are like limitless. Like I could like if I push myself, like if I really go like above and beyond, if I step outside of my comfort zone, like do you know what I mean? Like I specifically like, you know, I like second guess like speaking to people. Like I have like a weird like imposter syndrome, and just like even like sending emails sometimes like is hard for me. Like I'll be like, fuck, did I like type this out right? Like, you know what I'm saying? But then I think of like, I'm like, damn, like I like think about who you're talking to, like who you're having discussions with, and I'm like, yo, I could do that. Like, you know what I mean? Not on some like I could do that. Like, but like I have like immense gratitude for like you guys like being my friends. I think about it every day. I'm so grateful for it. And I'll never take it for granted. And like I can't even describe like what it means to have friends like you guys. Like who, if I'm fucking up, you'll be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it means everything to me. And I don't think that I would be able to like, or maybe I would be able to, but you've really been the catalyst to like a lot of like self-improvement and taking my like personal development to like the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's like Angel said, you know, watching your life, like how you live through example. Like I reflect on myself a lot too, you know what I mean? Like I keep to myself a lot, but like I always think about like you guys, honestly. Like I really do. I'm not just saying that lightly. Like I really do think about like what you guys are talking about, or like my role in your guys' life, and like maybe sometimes it doesn't seem like you know, like acting on it every single day, but I truly am analyzing it. But like, you know, what's analyzing if you're not acting? Like you said, it's easy to fucking read these texts but you're not preaching it. So like, you know, I'm still working on it, was what I'm trying to say. But like, I truly do value, especially you two guys in my life. Like I don't have many people in my life, as you know, and I'm like addicted to being alone, as you know, and like in a way, like physically, but like I value like you guys so much. And I just want to say like thank you so much for like sharing like what you've been through in your life, like especially like your upbringing, like it's very powerful. Like this interview is like one of the most powerful interviews we've had. I'm not saying that like lightly.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I really am serious.
I will say too, like I think that it's like in terms of just like a more of a general thing, that like people really do have like the seed of something very wicked sick inside of them. Like it's not like one person has, like everyone has their own different set of advantages. Mm-hmm. Just because you don't have like the advantages one person has doesn't mean you don't have advantages, period. Like most people have some sort of leverage of some kind in their own way. And I feel like at least at one point in my life, even with like all the advantages that I may have come up in, like there was points where I legitimately felt I could not do anything else besides like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be doing what I was doing. And through reading books and a bunch of other stuff, and like being influenced by like greater messages, I started to realize like, and just through some of the stuff that like I myself personally went through, I started to realize like how much literal power is like within, like literal, like immense power.
Infinite.
Like I like not even on some ego stuff, but I just started to realize like me personally, but also everyone could do this. They just haven't realized it yet, maybe.
It's hard, you know.
Like you could like on some like a cinder block wall is nothing. Like you'll just rip that with your fucking bare hands. And then even if no one else is helping and they're just watching, like I'll do it my goddamn self then. You know what I mean? Like, and you start to realize this, and I think that everything you've shared is an example of that, because you're at like like I said, a really awesome spot in life, and some of the stuff you're doing, like it's like what you value is like, in my opinion, very crucial. The things you want to accomplish, it's not like I want to have this or I want to have that. Like you usually never say like I want to have, you want to like help. And like the only thing I've really heard you say, like realistically, of like wanting to have is a jiu-jitsu gym, which like would then translate to like crazy sick things that would then help people.
Like,
you know what I mean?
help, yeah.
I think it's like oh, sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
no, go
interrupt
ahead.
you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's like difficult for a lot of people to realize like that power. I think being a human being is like the most special thing that you could, that like exists, you know? Like think about like how much energy, like look at like a little kid, like how much energy is like pouring out of them. It's like limitless, like, and it just recharges. It's like recharging throughout the day. And like the human mind and like its ability to innovate and to create. And then we're just kind of like stuck in like a system that is catered to only like one kind of mind. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it fucking like beats down people who like, who can't assimilate into that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And, just like, I just feel like people need to like understand that they have the ability to unlock that shit inside themselves. Like there really is like infinite power like within you. Like you could do anything that you want to do. Like you just have to like not give a fuck what anyone thinks, and you just have to like do it. Do you know what I'm saying? In my opinion.
Yeah. This morning I was reading our like Patreon messages, and this kid sent us a message, like a whole paragraph. He's like 15 years old, and he said that he's already tried to commit suicide 4 times last year. And just like reading that message was like insane, dude. Like you just said, like 15 years old, you're supposed to be like a playful kid, like just like trying to view the world like innocently still in a way, you know. And it's just like it's insane to think about what happens out there in the world. And like you said, the way the system is set up to, in a way, like it doesn't really help that much, like these you know, mental problems, you know. Like it's like, it's so stupid. Like these like mental well-beings has become like this like cute little trend, you know what I mean, like a sellout book or something, you know. But like I think conversations like this and like hearing experiences like you're talking about through your life, that's the beauty. That's where the real strength and power is, because it shows that we're just like 3 regular people. It's not like we're like, you know what I mean, like we don't have like professional degrees in like therapy or whatever, like, but these conversations I think can help like a kid like that, you know, to overcome what he's going through. And that was a part of his message that he sent, was that, you know, the people that we interview on the show and like the stories he hears has gotten him through like what he's going through. And that's like incredible, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, like I sometimes forget that what we're talking about is so powerful and can truly change someone's life that's like in the shadows in a way, you know what I mean? Like going through it, it's incredible. Like, so once again, I just want to thank you for the message that you're bringing to the world, and like you continue to bring, and like you have so much motivation for the future of continuing what you're doing, you know what I mean? Essentially, it feels like it's only the beginning, you know what I mean? Like what you're doing.
I think about you know, it's common to speak on the downfalls in society, the systems that are set up, or being born into certain situations. It's common to, I don't want to say like complain about them, but it is a form of complaining about what's happening, like what our situation is. It's a form of complaining, but you are just also speaking the truth a lot of the times and just speaking on your scenario. But I think that one thing, like a powerful idea that I know is not always easy to do, and maybe it's not always available to everyone, is to like realize that, like I said, like everyone has a certain type of advantage. Like no one scenario is the same, and it's like you can look at it like the way that I kind of think of life and the system, because that's what I'm kind of talking about. Like the system that is in American society is like a game of chess. So it's like there are rules in this game of chess. If my king is cornered, I can only move it one slot at a time. I can't move it into check. I can't move it, and I have to move it if I'm in checkmate. These are just rules. And when my king is cornered, I can choose. And it is hard to make those choices because you might not always realize it because it's like real life, not like a game of chess. But you can choose to be like, damn, why can't my king just move twice? Why is the system of chess set up that I can only move my king once? Or you can realize the rules, and like the rules are meant to, you kind of in a way have to abide by them to an extent, and you have to find the way like to make it work for you. Sitting and saying that you can't move it more than once, like it will not change the rules at all. What you can do is get together and maybe try and change the rules, but like even that is very hard. And it sucks to say like just like play by the rules that they're setting up there, meaning like whatever the higher powers. But it's true. Like I do think that each one can find, like I just think about like this podcast, and I think about the fact that like, you know, like growing up, like writing graffiti, skating, going to like hardcore punk shows or whatever. Like I've said it a bunch of times. Like that's the stuff of, in my mind, growing up, of losers. Like there is no future in this. There's nothing in this. This is like I'm, by my family, like looked severely down upon for this. Like severely down upon. Not just like down upon like he's a kid, he's a foolish kid. Like this is like not only the stuff of losers, but like the stuff of like foolish people. But it's like through it's like really similar to like jujitsu. It's like you might be bigger than I, but if I know the rules of like the human body and like mechanics, like your arm is gonna feel weak compared to mine, even though your arm is this big.
Yeah.
And mine is like this. It's about like knowing the rules and knowing how to play with them. And I think that once you understand that, even someone who's going through like a severe depression, or even someone, they can start to work themselves up. You just have to have that like seed of the idea put into your mind. And like I don't think that that anyone like isn't like capable of it once given that like first initial push. It's a matter of like decisions, because there really are people who have like legitimately changed their lives. I'm not talking about myself like at all, because like compared to like other people's lives, like this has been no real change. There's people who've like really like changed their life and overcome insane obstacles. And it's just like no one really looks at least probably not our fan base, like Navy SEALs or stuff like that, as like inspiration. But it's like there are people who like will undergo like the craziest physical training, and even if they break their leg, like they haven't even started to even thinking about stopping. And through that, like even if they were 10 million pounds, like 3 months later they weren't, and then they maybe came out on top of like the class of the Navy SEALs, even though they literally started at the worst case scenario. Like they went in the most out of shape, they went in with no jogging experience, and these other people were like triathletes, whatever, in high school. But then somehow the dude who was 40 million pounds 5 weeks ago came out first, and then people were like, what kind of advantage did he have? And it's like he had the advantage of like literal mental strength.
Yeah, it's in your mind.
That's like what he had.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just what I have to say.
Yeah, I think mindset's like super important. You know, like about that shit. Like a couple years ago, I was going through a crazy situation with like, you know, I went through a crazy breakup. I was going through like both my grandparents were fucking like mad sick. I thought they were both gonna die. I just had like a falling out with some of my teammates. Like it was like I was pretty much like felt like fucking alone, dude. And then I like used that kind of just, I was like, okay, like, well, it's like sink or swim. And I like took that time to like really train my mind. And I think like mantras are important. I think like if you're dealing with like I think if you're dealing with a problem and you're down on yourself, like you need to find some shit that you can tell yourself like every day and just like repeat it. Like I really feel like that shit works. Like you guys have mantras, like, right? Like, do you? Like I find that like just like telling yourself the same shit over and over and over and over and over, like really works. Like even if you don't believe it at first, like eventually you will.
Yeah, and it's important to have confidence in what you're saying and like in yourself. A lot of times confidence can appear to just be like, you know, cockiness or boastfulness, but you have to have like a firm belief in yourself. Like these are just common words and stuff, but it's like so true. You have to literally think that you are important.
Yeah.
And like you are special and able.
Yeah.
And because if you don't believe that, it will radiate through your face.
No, it does.
It will radiate through your face, your voice, your posture, like everything. And then no one will take you seriously because, like you said, like people don't treat you how they want to be treated. Like, I mean, how they would like to be treated. They just treat you on pretty much whatever they're feeling. Like arbitrary happens to just then they treat you that way. And like, I think that that like self-belief, it truly does like radiate through your face, your voice, and your appearance and like how you walk and talk and how you like carry yourself. And I just think that people have the ability, people are like you said, malleable. There's so much change that happens. You can literally become, like you said, anything. And to that kid who sent the message, like there are a bunch of people who send us messages. I haven't seen anything about suicide, but I have seen a bunch of messages of people saying like sick things that they've gained from the show, and that like means literally everything to like us because I don't know, like that's more important than entertainment. I definitely think it's sick like to be able to talk to like some graph writers or be able to talk to people who don't always talk to people, or skaters or musicians, or that is sick. And they all have crazy lives that people can learn from when they hear their stories and even relate to and be like, yo, maybe this dude who achieved all this stuff isn't so different from me. Because that it literally is the case. Yeah. They're not that different. If anything, like they're very relatable. And I don't know. It's like just because you're like young and maybe what you feel like you're into isn't something that you can make. You could literally. There are people who are like smoked crack until they were 39 years old, and then they're more in shape than anyone when they're 60. And they lived in literal burnt out buildings, and then they're still like they have a literal positive mental attitude pretty much because of a mantra. Like they've convinced themselves that this is true. And I think that's super important. And like he's been saying, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show and speaking. If you have anything else to say, you feel free, but like just it's been very sick.
Yeah, so first I would just like to say thank you for having me on here. This is like incredible opportunity, and also just like participating and like bearing witness to like everything that's happening has been I don't really even know what to say, man. Words are like kind of too shallow, but it's been incredible to like be a part of this and just to like experience like what I'm experiencing every day. I would say like to the 15-year-old kid, like you just have to keep going. Like you have to just decide that like you're not going to stop. Like it will work out for you. Like you are capable of like anything that you've seen done, and like anything that you can think of that hasn't like been done, you are capable of it. Just like don't stop. And then to anyone dealing with like I don't know, anything that I've ever, anyone who can relate to like, you know, like the family shit, like I guess this is a subjective thing to say, but I find that like forgiveness is one of the most important aspects of like healing yourself. You have to just be able to like forgive everybody, including the people who hurt you. It doesn't mean you have to forget about it, but you really do have to like come to a place of like forgiveness and understanding and just fucking let it go and then just start new tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.